Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the 2020 NAMI San Antonio Appreciation Ceremony. Note that today's program will be recorded. Audience members will be muted for optimal program experience.
As you can see, it's good, I'm not muted.
Well, let's see. There we go.
I'm sorry. I thought I was unmuted, but I guess I wasn't. Let me say that again. As you can see, we have quite an evening planned, but before we begin, we would like to recognize our board members attending today.
So who do we have in the room today from our board? Can we hear from each of you? Doug, can you give us a shout? You'll have to unmute if you're muted. All right, Ed, why don't we just go ahead and continue with the program?
Well, this is George Spencer. I was waiting for Doug. I just want to say how pleased I am to be here. Sorry I can't see you all in person, but Merry Christmas and best wishes.
Also, I'd like to say how much I appreciate being able to participate in this with you all. Hope you are well and wish you happy holidays.
This is Cliff McLaughlin, San Antonio NAMI board member and state trainer for NAMI peer programs. Be glad to see 2020 go. I appreciate everybody that contributes to NAMI and wish everybody in advance a Merry Christmas. I'll go back on mute.
Hey, this is Terry. Welcome, everybody. And I just wanted to also recognize that Greg Hanch, the Executive Director of NAMI Texas, is here tonight with us. So we appreciate him joining us. And he's everywhere and always tries to see and participate with our affiliate events. So thank you, Greg.
Yes, thank you, Greg, for being
Thank you. Great to see you all. Thanks for having me.
Very good.
Hi, Carol.
Just to let you know, Doug just came on.
Great. Good evening.
You're all right, Bob. All right. Okay.
Next slide.
Good evening, everyone. Before we focus our attention on tonight's appreciation, we want to take a moment to honor and remember some very special NAMI servants who gave so generously of themselves to the mission of support, education, awareness, and advocacy for the mental health community.
I guess we're first up, Carol.
Yes.
Yeah, so thank you all for a chance to remember Ralph and Mary Lou Thompson. I'm going to say a few words about Ralph, and Barbie's going to say something about Mary Lou, but Ralph was my first family-to-family instructor. And as I got to know him better, I found out it was Dr. Samuel Ralph Thompson III who taught mathematics at St. Mary's Hall for 39 years. Oh, wow. And Ralph died in fact, his memorial service was a year ago yesterday. And so we didn't get to honor him last year, so we're doing that this year. But Ralph was not only a great, and you could tell immediately when you were in his family-to-family class, he was a great teacher. He just had a wonderful way with students. But I learned so much from Ralph. And I remember him saying, and he was there because of his wife, Mary Lou, who had a mental illness. But Ralph would say, I'm a much better person now than I was. I've learned how to be a much better husband and a much better person. And it's what I've learned at NAMI, and how to be a better family member. And I think that was something that really stuck with me. And I admired, and Ralph always had a wonderful disposition. He made being in class, which was a very challenging experience for everybody in the class to be there in crisis. But Ralph always made it such an easy place to be, and was really caring and kind. And we miss Ralph, and we couldn't let this pass without remembering him. Barbie?
He also sponsored a team at every NAMI walk that I can remember. Ralph was also the lead teacher for the first NAMI family-to-family class that I helped instruct. I knew right away that I had been blessed to be able to learn from this consummate teacher who had been a professor at St. Mary's University for 39 years, a beloved one, and also a humble and wise and caring individual with a sense of humor. What I did not know was that being befriended by Ralph's wife, Mary Lou, would be my bigger blessing. She would come into the class each week before it began for about 30 minutes and sit next to me, and we would visit. And then she would disappear down the hall. As Doug said, Mary Lou had lived with schizophrenia for many years. She was a bit ragamuffin in appearance and had beautiful, beautiful sparkling eyes. And she was fascinating. A talented artist and a voracious reader early in life, she had an amazing memory, which I envied, and a vast knowledge of many different subjects. She loved music and nature and history and rocks and shells and birds and flowers. She gifted me with her poems and drawings and sang songs to me over the telephone. I learned from everything she shared. Because of Mary Lou, I find joy now in the smallest details of life and nature more and more, and always smile, remembering her. So grateful for both of their friendships.
Thank you, Carol.
Unmute, Carol.
You're on mute, Carol.
Sorry about that. All righty, we have 3 other truly faithful servants who also served as family to family volunteer leaders. And Sandy Samis is the first one that we'd like to acknowledge. There are so many wonderful things that could be said about this very special person. There are special people in our lives who never leave us in thought and mind. Sandy will be one of those. She's going to always be in our thoughts because she was such a bright light to everyone. Sandy could be described as a beacon of encouragement, love, and hope. Time may pass and fade away, but memories of Sandy will always stay. She had a special friend, a little kitty named Taz. Taz was Sandy's emotional support animal, and they loved each other deeply. Sandy, you are going to be missed by so very many. And then there was Loretta Smith. I tapped a good friend of Loretta's for comments, and her name is Charlotte Barr, and Charlotte had this to say about her good friend. Charlotte said, "I'm so glad that I had the opportunity to meet Loretta and her family at church. She would always reassure me with her sweet smile and confident demeanor that everything would be all right with my own daughter. She shared with me prior to her passing that she planned to get more involved with NAMI, which has encouraged me to do the same. Sweet smile always, that's what I remember." And in February of this year, Loretta had volunteered as our helper, and she came to the leaders' workshop. She just got busy and went to work. She set up the snacks and beverages well before class started, and she also stayed afterward to help put everything away. And everything was done with a smile on her face all the time. That was when she shared with me that she was ready to get back into her NAMI work. Loretta was just a beautiful person, both inside and out. And then there's Michael Sullivan. Many of us did not even know that Michael was a lieutenant colonel retired, U.S. Army. Michael completed 2 tours in Vietnam. He also worked military intelligence. He worked at the Pentagon. He was also a scoutmaster, and he helped his son gladly earn his Eagle Scout Award. Michael enjoyed reading, also loved his family passionately. When he attended his family-to-family leader training back in October of 2019, he was quite disappointed one morning when he realized we were having coffee problems. He quietly pulled me aside and he asked me to never let that happen again, because he was willing to always make sure that we had plenty of coffee and donuts to boot. Such a generous heart. I'll always remember that because he really, really did mean that. And then another fellow leader shared with me that during one of our sessions in that training, he brought up the topic of neuroplasticity and also cognitive behavior. She had never heard of either term before, and that caused her to continue her own research and develop her knowledge level even more. Melanie wants to thank you, Michael, because she said she's never forgotten your input. So he was extremely knowledgeable as well. He also participated in and helped to lead a support group in the New Braunfels area as well. Just a jewel of a human being. He is going to be sorely missed by all. Is there any wonder that he would be so passionate about his work with NAMI? We miss you, Michael. Now, 2020 presented unexpected challenges to us all. Like many organizations, NAMI San Antonio had to quickly mobilize to change classroom platform so we could continue to serve the mental health community. This meant tweaking curriculum format and learning new technology, often while facing logistic challenges. The continued success of this year's program would not be possible without our dedicated volunteers. And there just aren't enough words to say to describe what we've all been through, but we made it through together, and here we are tonight. First of all, I'd like to acknowledge our volunteer leaders in our Family to Family program. Family to Family is a free 8-week class education program for family members of adults who are living with mental illness. The program is designed to help all family members understand and support their loved one with mental illness while maintaining their own well-being, which we stress self-care quite often. And we want to recognize our family volunteers by name. They are Ann Hicks, Annette Lopez, Brad Denson, Cindy Monroe, Clemencia Prieto, Don Hollins, and Carol, I skipped me, Don O'Connor, Ed Dickey, Elizabeth Brickley, Eloy Zapata, Francis Soching, Jackie Dickey, James Bogner, Jody Stout, Kay Collier, Karen Gabrielson, Maria Campos, Maribel Fry, Mary Baird, Mary Mosgard, Mary O'Connor, Marianne Moquin, Melanie Denson, Raymond Baird, Rhonda Jefferson, Rob Brickley, Rosemarie Falduto, Sandy Hagendorf, Sherry Hagland, Siobhan Kiernan, Tamara Ramirez, Veronica Cameron, and Veronica Salinas. True soldiers, true folks committed to the cause in the Family to Family program. 3 of the people on the slide just became leaders this past year. They are Jody Stout, Kay Collier, and Rhonda Jefferson, the folks with the stars beside them. And they've just jumped right into the program already. And next, we have our NAMI Basics program. NAMI Basics is a free 6-week education program for parents and or family caregivers of children and teens up to 22 years old who are experiencing symptoms of a mental illness or whom have already been diagnosed. Here, they learn the facts about mental health conditions and how best to support that child at home and at school and when they're trying to get medical care. We'd like to give a great big thanks to our NAMI Basics leader volunteers. By name, they are Beth Federico, Brad Denson, Carol Hollins, Cindy Monroe, Deborah Zepeda, Don Hollins, Ed Dickey, Jackie Dickey, Kay Collier, Lisa Shelton, Margaret Hatcher, Mary Baird, Melanie Denson, Melissa Tiarina, Stephanie Flores, and Takwa Ali Radford. And the newcomers to the Leaders Program this year are identified by star, and they are Cindy Monroe, Kay Collier, Stephanie Flores' star is missing, but she's new to the program and has already taught a class, as well as Taqwa Ali Radford. And last of all, in our NAMI peer-to-peer program, it's an educational program for 6 weeks. It's a course that's designed for adults with mental health conditions who are looking to better understand themselves as they work on their recovery. It's taught by trained leaders with lived experience and includes activities, discussions, and very informative videos. Our 2020 peer-to-peer active volunteers are Clifford McGlotton, Dan White, Forrest Smith, James Bodner, James Van Duzer, Kay Collier, Carrie Hooten, Lorena Perez, Michelle Mata, Ruth Bodner, and Taqwa Ali Radford. And again, we had 2 brand new folks join our team, Kay Collier and Lorena Perez, and they've both already taught classes. Verna?
Thank you, Carol. So In Our Own Voice is a program that trains leaders with lived experience to talk openly about what it's like to have a mental health condition. So here are our leaders: Chris Baird, Cliff McGlotton, Dan White, James Van Duzer, Joseph Tiarina, and Michelle Mata. So NAMI Connections. NAMI Connection Recovery Support Group is a free peer-led support group for adults with experienced symptoms of a mental health condition. Special thanks to our 2020 NAMI Connection facilitators, volunteers. We have been able to add 9 more support groups. All the new ones, Bernadette Coleman, Cindy Monroe, Cliff McGlotton, Dan White, David Castro, Ellen Beyer, Jacqueline Reed, Janie Swatzel, Jay Voskis, Kay Martin, Kylie Clark, Leo Quayle, Manuel Maldonado, Melora Alvarez, Michael Collins, Miracle Taylor, Pilar Gonzalba, Shelley Yaunt, Taqwa Ali Rodford, and Valerie Sanderson. As you can see, we have several stars. These are all new: Cindy Monroe, Dan White, David Castro, Jacqueline Reed, Janie Swatzel, Jay Voss, Katie Martin, Leo Quayle, Manuel Maldonado, Melora Alvarez, Michael Collins, Miracle Taylor, Pilar Gonzalba, Shelley Yaunt, Taqwa Ali Radford, and Valerie Sanderson. We have a new program called NAMI on Campus. The University of Incarnate Word NAMI on Campus officers are the President, Pilar Gonzalba, Vice President, Nisha Norpel, Vice President, Nika, Secretary Treasurer, Monica Urena. Faculty Advisor is Dr. Maria Felix Ortiz. NAMI on Campus is a student-led club that supports fellow students and raise mental illness awareness, educate the campus community, and promote services and support. So we're really happy for this new program.
Oh,
Awareness Champion. Nominees demonstrated their commitment to supporting NAMI San Antonio, particularly in the area of media, which includes but is not limited to any social media, namely Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, etc., television, newspaper, podcasts, and Zoom. The Awareness Champion Award recognizes and celebrates efforts made over the past year to improve advocacy, reach out, education, post, tweet, comment, and promote NAMI and NAMI programs and activities via any available media available. Their commitment in supporting NAMI SAT helped us to reach peers, families, professionals, and general public about the wonderful work that NAMI San Antonio provides our community. The winner of this year's Awareness Champion Award is Valerie Sanderson. Since her participation starting in March, Facebook likes have increased 25% and growing with more than 3,370 people and organizations following. Valerie assumed all responsibility of NAMI San Antonio's Instagram with little or no activity. And today there are over 1,200 followers. She is also working with the NAMI on campus at UIW's private group page. Quick to post and engage with users and knows the NAMI SAT audience because of her field of study, personal connections, etc., making our website a popular and growing one that other community partners follow, share, and post their pages. So I'd like to welcome Valerie Sanderson.
Thank you so much, Verna, for those kind words. It has been an absolute pleasure working on social media for NAMI San Antonio and engaging with all of our members to make them aware of all the resources that NAMI San Antonio has to offer. I was brand new to NAMI San Antonio at the beginning of this year, and I was blown away with how much resources were available and for free. And I wanted to share it. It became my mission to share, and it continues to be my mission to share what NAMI San Antonio and NAMI National have to offer everyone. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Valerie. Okay, so our 2020 Technology Award. The first Technology Award goes to Manuel Maldonado. Sorry about that. Everything in life is online now, from work to social media to attending meetings. It takes brave, often nerdy individuals who will accept the challenge of training and facilitating in a new learning environment. The Technology Award is recognizing individuals who have exhibited and applied innovative, oh my goodness, I had trouble with that word. Innovative approaches to learning, training, setup, and production of the NAMI program virtual classroom, support groups, curriculum, and general meetings. This person sought ways to deliver solutions of meeting NAMI community needs of 2020 as a minimal disruption as possible. We simply could not have the successful virtual NAMI programs this year without several adults, individuals. So our first award goes to Manuel Maldonado. He's our first technology award recipient that we want to announce. When we are facing COVID, he put in many volunteer hours so that NAMI San Antonio could go virtual with our support group. He trained me on the Zoom platform, set up Zoom registration, put together our original NAMI Connection support group power slides so that NAMI San Antonio could miraculously start our groups as needed, urgent need during this COVID-19. So Manuel, I would like to introduce you to Manuel Maldonado.
Well, thank you, Verna, for sharing that. I'm kind of blushing over here, and I guess I'm honored that you call me nerdy. But I love nerdy, and I had no idea that I would be taking a technology award. But for those of you who have not met in the past, my name is Manuel Maldonado. My journey started with NAMI about 3 years ago, shortly after I was diagnosed, after the death of my father. As I look back, over the past decade, it's really has been a whirlwind of just providing health care and supporting my own immediate family. I would have to tell you that NAMI certainly is a real place. It's a place that creates a safe environment, security for both peers and caregivers. And I tell you, when I first got started, at least for this year, I just really appreciated the relationship that I had connected very well with Carol and Verna and Patty. And when COVID hit, it was like deers in the headlights, like, what do we do now? And I think we all worked phenomenally together. We made it happen. And just seeing how this session is actually taking place today, thumbs up. I think we're on a really great track. I think Zoom is something that's going to stay, just like plexiglass and and face mask. But I have to just say once again that every one of these programs, from the educational program, which was a wealth of information for myself, all the way to the peer support. And I'm just really proud to be part of an amazing organization. And today, I actually am a facilitator for the support groups, and I'm also a state certified peer specialist. So none of this could have actually happened without the great welcome from the San Antonio NAMI team. So thank you.
Thank you, Manuel. So our second award, technology award recipient we want to announce is Jacqueline Reed. She too has been a godsend with her artistry background. She has created and added color to our NAMI support group slides. Jacqueline has offered volunteer hours to produce PowerPoint slides for once a month workshops for our NAMI Connection facilitators. She has also agreed to co-present with me for these workshops. Please welcome Jacqueline Reed. Jacqueline, will you come on, please?
Hello, everyone. Good evening. What a joy to be here. And I don't care what anybody says, but 2020 has been an amazing year. It has been a year started all the way back in January with Verna at our Word of the Year art workshop with Soul Art Project. And although my word of the year went from encouragement to inspire to resilience, my path took a turn similar to Manny's. We parallel a bit. I too am a certified mental health peer specialist and love producing for the veterans group. Looking forward to stepping in the role as a co-facilitator for the veterans families, family support, and some of the other things down the road, all circling around veterans and their families. I am a very honored and proud mama of a specialist, Nick Steele, who completed suicide in 2012 due to his brain injury when an IED went off. And I am loved and supported and lifted up every day by my 21-year veteran and my husband next to me here tonight. And, you know, it takes a village to do it all. That's him. And you know, I choose positive, I choose engaging, I choose humor, I choose better coping skills. And above all, I choose to be Verna's Gal Friday whenever I can and never, ever, ever give up hope. So peace and love to all of you. And thank you for giving me this opportunity to share and be a part of such an amazing, amazing group of people. You are my tribe. Thank you. Carol, you rock too, you know it.
Thank you, Jacqueline. Listen, our last, but certainly not least Technology Award recipient that we want to announce is Kenneth Ramirez. But before I do say a little bit more about Kenneth, what comes to mind is Manuel Maldonado. When he came and he contacted us on staff and decided to come to our March 2020 general meeting. That's when we all met Manuel. He came through like a whirlwind and wanted to volunteer everywhere. Verna spent that luncheon session with him almost the entire time. And then she comes to tell me about Maldonado, about Manuel and everything that he wanted to do. And she tells me, but you can't have him. He's mine. He's on our side. I go, okay. We're not going to fight over him, but he has proven to be so worthy. And I didn't want to be remiss in thanking you as well, Manuel, for all that you did on the education side of the house, because before COVID, the majority of us didn't even know Zoom existed, beginning with me. And so thank you for all that you did. And Jacqueline, I will never forget NAMI Day and all of the artistic work that you got everyone involved in. You were phenomenal. I thank you. Back to the last recipient for the Technology Award. His name is Kenneth Ramirez. I sure hope Kenneth comes on. He's a bit shy. And I tapped his wife and asked, what descriptors would you use for your husband? And being the good wife that she is, she said, he's helpful, he's kind, he's supportive, and he's wise. And I thought, oh, just what a good wife would say. Isn't that beautiful, that descriptive of him? What I know about Kenneth, I just recently learned. I was in a real pickle. We were getting ready to host our bi-monthly leaders workshop. And the person that I had tapped into that had agreed to conduct our producer training session decided to retire and was not going to be able to do it for me. And I had about 2 weeks notice that he wasn't going to be there. And fortunately, I met Kenneth through his wonderful wife, Tamara, at a family-to-family class. And he volunteered to be producer for the evening as well as to teach our leaders producer workshop. And he came through with shining colors. I mean, he did a wonderful job. I will never forget his willingness to step up to the plate, do a wonderful job for us, and just shine. So, Kenneth, are you on tonight? And if you are, please say words to everyone.
We're here. Thank you. I don't really feel worthy of a special award after hearing all about the others, but it was my pleasure to step in and help. It's been a great honor to be a part of the family session this last time, and I keep hearing all this stuff about NAMI from my wife, but now I get to experience it a little myself. And Carol, you in particular have just been a really bundle of joy, always positive, always encouraging. And, you know, your personality is powerful, and just chance to meet some of y'all and help a little way. I'm very, very honored to have an award here. So thank you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for being you, Kenneth. And you too, Tamara.
We have been drawn together as a community to build understanding and extend compassion for all who are living with mental health issues and for all their loved ones. Let's pause this evening with a few moments of perspective and gratitude from our peer guest speaker, Brad Denson.
Good evening. I'm glad to be here and honored to participate this evening and be your speaker. For those of you that don't know me, and if you did get to know me, you'd probably find out that a lot of us in here tonight for this meeting have a lot of things in common. I have a family, I have a career, and my wife will completely agree 100%, probably more, that I have a ton of hobbies. Now, I volunteer with NAMI. I have friends and family that I support, and in turn, they support me. Just a small part of who I am is that I'm personally living with the mental health condition. Now, like all of you, my family and I have faced many challenges and hardships this year, like no other. I really was put to the test this year virtually, because virtually, no pun intended, every important aspect of my life has changed. And for those of you out there that are probably like me, we don't like change. So the first thing that changed this year for me was my job. My company had to change things overnight when COVID hit. I went from a standard 8-hour workday in healthcare to 12 to 14 hours, 12 to 14 hour days, 5 days a week. My role has changed as well. I've also been designated as the COVID compliance officer for our surgery scheduled patients. And throughout this year, it's been really hard for me. One thing I do with my patients is I get really close to my patients. I have a heart for each and every one of them. And this year with COVID, I've lost several patients. And I've also look up to those families, and they look up to me for support. But COVID has changed the social dynamics of how people are allowed to grieve. So I personally have felt the impact of caregiver fatigue and burnout. The next thing that has changed this year is my spiritual life. My faith is a huge part of my mental wellness journey, and I try to manage the whole person, my body, my mind, and my spirit. Since we attend a large congregation, our way of worship has changed. For 7 months, we have had no in-person contact, and what impacted us was the face-to-face fellowship and encouragement from others. Now, as a peer, I personally felt isolated because of COVID's impact. My grieving process has changed as well. A lot of people this year have experienced and suffered deaths in family. Even that was met with change. This year, we lost one of our loved family members, our grandmother. We weren't able to say goodbye to our loved one in the same way, nor grieve the same way that a normal family would because of social distancing requirements. Now, we understand what it means to not be able to grieve the way my heart needs to. Another thing, and a very big thing this year, was my family's health situation changed. This year, I added to my list of spinal procedures. having another one. My daughters have had health issues that have put both of them in the hospital and one in ICU. And those are stressors just by themselves. But this past June, my whole family was in danger. Our whole household contracted COVID at the same time, period. We had no caregivers to help us without compromising their health. We were too ill to care for one another, and we struggled every day just to muster physical strength and just to do what we needed to do to fight the illness. The mental strength alone was equally difficult. It was, in many ways, like having a mental illness. But like you, we understand what it means to need to rely on others to help us when we can't care for ourselves. That's okay. Yes, this year's been difficult, but isn't every year harder than the previous? I think so. But what I have learned is that life doesn't get any easier, but I get stronger. And as I reflect on this past year and really contemplate on the areas that have helped me cope with all of the stress and change, I can sum it up with these three things. Push. Don't pull. Rowing is one of those kind of workouts, that movements where you either love it or you hate it. For some, no matter how hard they pull on the handle, that split time just doesn't go down. So what can I do to get better at rowing? For many, one of the best cues is to push, not pull. Now, for the untrained eye, most people perceive the rowing movement as a pull of the arms, when in reality, majority of the effort is the extension of the knees and hips. So, pushing. Now, our muscles around our legs and hips are far stronger than those of the upper body. By using the bigger muscles first, we can then maximize our output. So what does that actually have to do with coping with change and adversity? Absolutely nothing. But it's catchy, isn't it? I'm just kidding. Where am I going with this? Is that instead of pulling away from NAMI and the things that keep me in the healthy, manageable stage of my mental wellness, is that I pushed harder, a lot harder, by getting involved more with NAMI. My wife and I have taught 3 classes this year, and I became involved in the State Peer Council. The second thing that helped me cope was the drive to actually persevere. If there's one thing that is certain about COVID and the year 2020, is that life is uncertain. We can't predict what the future holds, but we know change is inevitable down the road when we eventually return to our new normal, whatever that looks like. But by applying the principles that we teach and learn in NAMI, we know that we are strong people who have skills, resources that we need to persevere through change and adversity. And then next, pausing periodically to reflect has also helped me stay encouraged. That brings me to my last point this evening. And as we think about what is to come down the runway of life in 2021, and that is taking all this evening in, the grief, the partnerships, as well as the successes. We have too much to be thankful for, because in this moment we have NAMI, and we have one another this evening to work as a support system for each and the community. Now, perspective produces gratitude. So I'm going to leave you this evening with this one last thought. Perspective and gratitude are the byproduct of reflection and hope. Now, with NAMI as a resource, there's always hope. Thank you this evening for inviting me to be your peer leader speaker, and I'll turn it back over to Ed.
I think I'm up, Ed.
Yes. Thank you.
So, Thank you so much, Brad, for sharing what an incredible journey that you have been through, your family has been through, and sharing how, you know, as you said, pushing through is really a part of how you've persevered. You've stayed well, you know, and so we really appreciate. We've all been through lots of things this year. It's been, you know, a really challenging year for sure, but what I see is in all of you is that we have daring leaders. And so as you look at this slide, I just want to read these two remarks from Brene Brown. When we have the courage to walk into our story and own it, we get to write the ending. Daring leaders who live into their values are never silent about hard things. So I've been a fan of Brene Brown's for some time. And if you don't know who she is, I highly recommend that you check out her books, her research particularly, and you know, you can find a lot on her website. She's a TED Talk gal who has just really made an impact through her very first TED Talk. And so one of her newer books is called Dare to Lead: Brave Work, Tough Conversations, Whole Hearts. And this book, as I've been looking into it and getting to know the work that she's done and that you can participate with in a workbook, actually, with this book, it just seemed like it's written for us. It's written for, you know, you and me and our NAMI family. I just love what she says. So in ironically, she also does a podcast that you may enjoy. And one of her podcasts is with Dolly Parton. And so when we were planning this evening of thanks and gratitude, it was just a purely coincidence that one of Brene Brown's favorite persons is Dolly Parton. And it's because of her amazing songwriting. And so that was just an interesting thing. And so both Brene Brown and Dolly Parton, as a matter of fact, really write about, whether it's in their research in her Brene Brown's research or books, and in Dolly Parton's storytelling through her songs, her lyrics. They talk about and address shame and vulnerability, but they also talk about courage and values. And Brene Brown challenges us to dare greatly and work strong. What we are doing together as a NAMI family is really brave. We're changing the status quo, we're changing the culture, and we're raising our voices. We're helping each other and all that we touch to have that courage to walk into our own stories and write our own endings. We are living our values and helping others to do so as well. And we won't be silent, but continue to raise our voices about hard things. So tonight, I'll just close by saying, thank you all for daring to lead. Thank you for making a very challenging year one of growth and amazing success. And for leading, you're going to continue to lead into a new year that I think we all agree has great promise. We have learned so much, and we're going to take that with us for years to come. And it's very much because of all of you. So with that, I'll say goodnight. Stay well and happy holidays to you all. And we thank you so much.